Hi guys, it's Misty here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a card I want to share with you that I made for a very special little boy in our lives. This is for my son's best friend. His name is Bubby. Well, his nickname is Bubby. And he's really into football. He's an awesome little football player for a fourth grader. So I decided to make him a football card. Now, I knew I wanted to make a football card, and I had originally planned on using an embossing folder to make the football to give it texture. So I ordered this embossing folder. It came, it was the wrong one, and then I was out of time. So I was desperately looking for a way to make a a football look like a football. So I came across this video by Sandy Allnock. She saved my life in this video. I'm going to put a link to her video in the description below because she explains it really well and how to do it. I go over it pretty quick here, but it's pretty cool how she came up with this idea. So I started out with just a piece of cream colored cardstock, and I'm going to give it texture by using an actual football, or the look of texture, I should say. So first I just used a circle die to cut out the football. And then I used Lawn Fawn Fake Tan is the name of the ink to color the football orange. I thought it was going to be a little too much, but it actually turns out really cool. So Fake Tan, use the ink pad right on the cardstock like you just saw. And then I'm just taking dark chocolate ink by Simon Says Stamp and I'm putting it directly onto the football. Now, this football gets a lot of use, so it was dirty. That's why I just took a wet wipe to clean it. You don't have to do that unless you have a dirty football too. So then I'm just going to take that little football shape and I'm putting it right directly on the football, trying not to move it. And look at that. It makes it look like the little dots that are on the football, or the texture that's on the football. So there's still a little bit to it to make it actually look like a football, but first I'm just going to take it and I'm going to score it down the middle. And this just is going to help shape the football. Then I'm going to take, I just have a piece of foam that I use. I used to use it for stamping images, but now I don't really use it for it anymore. So I'm just going to take this piece of foam and then take my bone folder and kind of push on the cardstock a little bit, and it gives it a little roundness to it. I guess it's kind of like when you take a ribbon and you put scissors on it and pull tight and it curls it. It's kind of what it did to the football. All right, so now I'm just going to take some ink and I'm going to distress it a little bit around the edges. And again, I'm just using the dark chocolate by Simon Says Stamp. And it's not an actual distress ink, which is fine. I mean, you can use any ink, but it just wasn't going on the way I wanted it to. So I just took the ink pad and put it directly onto an acrylic block, and then I liked the way it came off better. All right, so I just went around the whole football, made it look, gave it some more dark color, and just made it look more like a real football. And then I'm going to add the stitching. So I'm just going to go along and I'm going to poke holes on both sides, try to keep it as even as possible from either side. And then there's a hole at the top and then one at the bottom. And then I just took a piece of twine that I had, white twine, and I'm going to give it the stitching. I don't know if that's called something on a football. The stitches on it, is it called, does it have a special name? I have no idea. But this is going to make it look like more like an actual football. So I had a little circle paper punch thing. Is that what it's called? Paper punch? Hole punch. And I guess I should have used that, but instead I used that little poker you see on the right there, that with the pink poker. And the holes, I was thinking I wanted the holes smaller, but it made it hard to get the string through it. So at one point I went back and tried to make the holes a little bit bigger, but I should have used the hole punch. But I didn't, but it still works out. I'm just going to go ahead and thread the twine through the football. And you'll see here that I had some difficulty trying to get this through that little tiny hole. But it works out in the end. I just think this is so cool to make a football like this. I'm kind of glad the embossing folder didn't come in time because I like doing it this way. All right, just going to tie it off here, and I'm going to add some foam adhesive on the back of this to pop it up a little bit. I was kind of worried that the orange, that bright orange, was going to be too much, but it turned out pretty good. You can't really tell that it was bright orange. All right, and this was, I learned this in Sandy's video as well, to do the field. It didn't quite work out the way hers did. You know, I mean, she's an artist. She's really good, and it's the first time I'd ever done it, so didn't quite turn out, but I made it work. So I just went, I used my bone folder and scored it to make it look like the, you know, the yards on a football field and the end zones. And then the ink I'm using is Hero Arts Green Hills, and she just took the ink pad and rubbed it lightly over the whole card front. But it went down. I always press too hard when I do stuff like this, and so it wasn't quite as bright white as Sandy's is. So I just took my white gel pen and went over all of those score marks and made it nice and white. So as usual, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with this card until I started doing it. So I was originally going to put his number's 24. I was going to put the front of the jersey on the front, as you see up at the top, the jersey with the 24, but I'm going to switch that out in a little bit. And then I just did a helmet to match their helmet. I found that I cut it out with my silhouette. And then this is where I changed my mind. I decided I wanted his name on it. I wanted to personalize it somehow. So I think it was my husband that told me to do the back of the jersey so I could put his last name on it. He helps me make decisions on my cards all the time. I'm a horrible decision maker. My hubby always comes to the rescue. So I thought this was a brilliant idea. I love that I can actually put his last name, have his number, and you know, have it personalized for him and him only. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to place everything on the card. Yep, had an extra jersey. I think I ended up giving that to his grandma. I just love watching this kid play football. Him and my son, I do videos a lot of times. At the games, and I just love watching them play. This kid has no fear, I tell you. I mean, it makes him a really good football player. Scares the crap out of me sometimes watching him, but I love watching him. So I'm just using some Be Creative tape on the back of my fun foam. I decided I wanted to pop the whole card front up a little bit. Is the tape, I only use this tape I don't only use it for fun foam, but it works really well when you add fun foam to the back of your card front. And all that ink on to make the football field and the scoring kind of made the card front, it didn't lay flat. So that's why I put so much tape on the back of it. I don't usually put that much tape on the back. I usually just go around the perimeter, but I wanted, you know, to make it lay flat, so I put quite a bit on there. And there's my hubby coming in with more of his input. He coaches these guys, so he was telling me what I should add to the field. So I did. You'll see it here in a second. Again, I used my silhouette to cut out FB for Fort Bragg, and I'm going to add it to the field. See, he's got some good ideas sometimes. He's a keeper. He loves this kid as much as I do. I mean, we really feel hard for this kid. I love him like he's my own. We know he's not. He's got a mother and a father and a grandmother who takes care of him, but we love having him here. Him and my son get along really well. All right, I added glue around the football, and I was kind of disappointed what it did to it. I didn't really like the way it turned out. I wish I wouldn't have glued the edges down. It kind of flattened it more than I wanted to, and it started to make the colors bleed onto the field a little bit. So if I make this card again, I think just the adhesive underneath the stitching probably would have been enough. So if I do it again, I won't add glue around the edges. Yeah, I was already starting to regret doing that at this point, but there's no way I was about to start all over again. All right, stamp runner for the jersey. I know I use all kinds of different glue all the time. My husband said he's never seen somebody with so many different kinds of glue. You gotta have them when you make cards. Use different glues for different things. All right, and then I decided I wanted to prop up the helmet a little bit just to give it a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to do that too as soon as I get my FB, my letters on. And the two-way glue pen for these little letters and, you know, small little intricate things works perfectly. I love that two-way glue pen. And I'm just going to use some double-sided foam squares for the football. And then I don't know if it showed it in the video, but I cut the field a little bit smaller than the card base, so that way I could have a purple perimeter around the whole thing. I love having a silhouette cameo, so I really like the way that helmet turned out. I don't know if I've never seen a die for a football helmet before. I'm sure there's got to be one out there, but all right, just using some more Be Creative tape to glue down my card front, and that pretty much that's pretty much what I did. I just added a sentiment to the inside, and that's it. So yeah, this card was custom made just for you, Bubby. You are one of my two favorite kids in the whole wide world. Happy birthday. I hope you had a good one. And yes, I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning making this card for you, so you're lucky we love you, kid. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please click on the like button. If you want to see more of my card tutorials, click on that subscribe button. I've also added 2 additional videos below this one. If you click on the picture, it'll take you straight to that video. The one on the left is pretty cool. It's a Halloween card I made using that skull image you see there. So I hope you will check those out. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye!